Welcome to Aminatou, the Fateshifter, the creepy kid. I like scary movies, but I don't like scary movies with little kids in it. And Aminatou definitely reminds me of a creepy kid in a scary movie. But anyway, that's not going to stop us from playing this deck. So we have Aminatou, the Fateshifter, +1 draw a card, and then put a card from your hand on top of your library. Then for a -1, exile another permanent you own, return to the battlefield under your control or blinking in a roundabout way. And then for a -6, choose left or right. Each player gains control of all non-land permanents other than Aminatou controlled by the next player in the chosen direction. Now, as far as this particular deck, this is pretty much kind of like a enter the battlefield, good stuff value creatures. We also have a lot of enter the battlefield creatures that generate a lot of tokens. So this is kind of like a control build, token build, and just some really good stuff creatures. This is definitely one of those decks that it's going to be a lot better with Aminatou on the battlefield. But if we don't get Aminatou down for some reason, let's say that her commander tax is going really high, we're still going to end up with this really good core foundation. And that's really how we wanted to build Aminatou. At least that's how I wanted to build her. But the deck's a lot of fun. I cannot wait for you to see the gameplay videos. But let's jump into the deck tech and we'll cover some of the key cards. Now, what makes this deck really shine is going to be the enter the battlefield creatures that generate tokens. So cards like Blade Splicer and Whirler Rogue, we'll be able to get these down, amplify those tokens, and we do have some amplifying effects I'll talk about later in the deck tech. But for this point right now, we just want to have these creatures into the battlefield, get a token, and then once Aminatou's down, we can use that minus ability to just really kind of keep plussing up and getting these tokens going. Let's say that we get down Blade Splicer and just 3 turns end up with a bunch of Golem tokens, you're going to be good to go. Then also Whirler Rogue, tap 2 untap artifacts you control and target creature can't be blocked. That's going to work out really well, especially if you get a lot of those Thopter tokens. It's going to make it easy for you to swing at some of your opponent's planeswalkers or just kind of get in for some really good damage, depending on what sort of sword of blank and blank package you might be running in your particular Aminatou deck. But I definitely really enjoy Whirler Rogue. You just want to have creatures that end up with just a ton of bodies on the battlefield and make it really hard for your opponent to fight through the entire tokens. Same thing with Belfry Spirit and Geist-Honored Monk. They are coming at 5 converted mana cost. And once I'm covering these commanders, I'm not really going to spend a lot of time on them. Basically, I'm just highlighting some of the key cards. So Belfry Spirit's going to give us 2 tokens. Geist-Honored Monk's going to act as an XX commander, not commander, but an XX creature where it's going to be equal to the number of creatures that we have on the battlefield. And at the same time, we're going to get those 1/1 spirit tokens. Even if we can't swing in with Geist-Honored Monk, even though it's an 8/8 or like a 9/9 or something like that, simply having 2 flying tokens is going to make a really big difference in your Aminatou build. Visionary Augmenter, Master of Waves. Master of Waves is going to be a little bit more dependent on our devotion to blue. We don't really have a ton of blue devotion stuff in here, but it's nice to have those extra elemental creatures. And then same with the Fabricate ability. Most of the time we're going to be getting those servo tokens on the battlefield. Now with Master of Waves, and I'm 99% sure I'm correct on this, if you get down Master of Waves and your devotion is 3, you're going to end up with those 3 elemental tokens. If you blink Master of Waves with Aminatou, it's basically going to come back onto the battlefield and those tokens aren't going to go away. So you may want to check with the judge, but I'm fairly confident that those elementals will not die by the time that the Master of Waves comes back. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind, that even though you're technically blinking Master of Waves, by the time I think state-based actions check it, it's still back on the battlefield. Check with the judge, but I'm pretty sure that that interaction is correct. Now, outside of the enter the battlefield tokens, we're also running a couple of different creatures that allow us to just squeeze as much value out of our normal instant sorceries as possible. Talrain and Murmuring Mystic, they're going to keep us online for, if we're going for Serum Visions, we're going for Path to Exile, we're going to be able to tag along with these extra tokens, and really it's just going to kind of keep us on point with some of our amplifying token effects, just really kind of getting that extra value. Same thing with the Mara Angel and the Snake Dancer. Whenever lane enters the battlefield, we're going to end up with the 1/1 white bird creature token, and then the Snake Dancer is going to allow us to end up with the snake creature token on the battlefield with Death Touch. So we can kind of use that as our way to kind of block some of our opponent's creatures swinging in at us. And let's say that we do have Anointed Procession, that's going to allow us to end up with 2 snake tokens, and you're going to be a happy camper. I know, it's always nice to get that down. Now, some of the ways to kind of help support the tokens in here, this can be Mentor of the Meek. This is one of the best cards you can run in a token build. Whenever another non-token with power 2 or less enters the battlefield, you can pay 1 colorless, and you get to draw a card. And then also Angel of Invention. It's kind of going to be like almost like our tribal lord in a sense. Other creatures you control get +1/+1, and then you can get those 2 servo tokens on the battlefield, once again with that Fabricate. If you end up going for the Fabricate on the servos instead of the the +1 counters, it does kind of leave you open to a little bit more removal, but being able to get down just a universal token lord that gives all your creatures +1/+1, that's going to make a huge difference. Now, some of the other things that's going to be in the enchantment token support, that's going to be Bitter Blossom and Intangible Virtue. Bitter Blossom is going to give us some really good tokens at the beginning of our upkeep, and then Intangible Virtue is going to allow us to make sure that our creature tokens get +1/+1 and have vigilance. You know, these creature tokens come cheap, and being able to swing in at your opponent and still have these creatures in the back end to protect Aminatou is going to make a really big difference. Also, some of the high impact token spells that we are running in the deck, Entreat the Angels, we can also kind of set our deck up in a way that we can put Entreat the Angels back on top with Aminatou, then draw it the next turn and tap out for a bunch of angels. And same thing with Secure the Waste. This is one of the best cards in the deck. I love it. You're going to be able to tap out. Let's say your opponent goes for a board wipe. You have a bunch of mana available. You have a lot of mana rocks. You go for that Secure the Waste, and you're going to be able to dump a ton of warrior creatures on the battlefield, resetting your entire board state with those tokens. Especially, like I mentioned, if you Anointed Procession, that is some good right there. Now, some of the artifact support that really kind of keeps us on game plan is going to be Conjurer's Closet and Panharmonicon. Panharmonicon is going to give us that double the enter the battlefield triggers. And the same thing with Conjurer's Closet. It's going to act as an extra Aminatou activation, being able to hand select whatever sort of creature we need to just kind of get that extra enter the battlefield trigger. Now, some of the ways that we can, like I mentioned, really kind of amplify the tokens is cards like Anointed Procession. It's going to double our tokens, and then Divine Visitation. Whew. Unfortunately, I didn't get it down in these videos, but I can't wait to get it down. If one or more creature tokens will be created, you get to create a 4/4 White Angel creature token with Flying and Vigilance instead. So let's say that we have Divine Visitation down. We go for that Secure the Waste. That's going to be maybe 6/1/1 soldiers on the battlefield. That's going to turn into 4/4 White Angel tokens for just like 5 mana, and that's some good magic right there. We're also running a Ketra's Monument in here and Cathar's Crusade. A Ketra's Monument, it's just in here. It's probably going to be one of the first cards that I end up cutting from the deck. I wasn't too happy with it, but it's in there. Gives us some tokens and gives us some reduced costs on some of our bigger white creatures. This is one of the powerhouse cards for the deck. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, we get to put a +1 counter on each creature that you control. If you're getting stuff like the Fabricate creature into the battlefield, that's 1+1 counter. Then when those Servo tokens enter the battlefield, that's another +1 counter. So basically, you'll be able to keep putting all these +1 counters on there, and it's really going to allow you to close the game out. You know, we're not in green, we can't run Crater Hoof, but Cathar's Crusade is basically just like running Crater Hoof, you know, get all those tokens going, it's going to be a ton of fun. Now, outside of the tokens, we're going to have a lot of creatures that care about getting some sort of value as they enter the battlefield. So we have Riverwise Augur, that's going to allow us to draw 3 cards and discard 2 cards. Same thing with Cloud Blazer, enters the battlefield, gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. Basically, you just want to have some sort of way to make sure your hand is flowing, either you're progressing your board state or you're getting some sort of card advantage, and both of these creatures certainly do that. Same thing with Omen Speaker and Snapcaster Mage. Omen Speaker is going to allow us to get the Scry going, and then the Scurry, the Fever, and then Snapcaster Mage is going to allow us to keep our graveyard online for any sort of stuff that we need. As far as some of our removal creatures, we got Ravenous Chupacabra and Plaguecrafter. Once again, bounties with Aminatou. If let's say that we have a Panharmonicon on the battlefield, that's going to be double kill triggers and then double sacrificing triggers. So you just want to build a lot of overlapping strategies as much as possible. Now, some of our utility creatures are tutor creatures, Spellseeker and Recruiter of the Guard. These are going to allow us to basically kind of be our tutor elements for the deck. So you can kind of run these in place with something like Mystical Tutor, and also keeps you, Recruiter of the Guard with power toughness 2 or less. That's going to be a ton of high impact creatures in the in our deck, so that's definitely going to allow you to grab whatever sort of utility creature that you need. Now, as far as some of our tempo enter the battlefield creatures, we have Sad Robot and Reflector Mage. Getting down Reflector Mage and simply just bouncing with Aminatou and sending that certain creature back to your opponent's hand, that's going to be a great way to make sure you keep your board state under control. And the same thing with Sad Robot, bouncing Sad Robot, that's going to be a lot of land drops, and then if it does die, you get to cash in a card draw, which is always nice. Now, moving on to one of the ways that we can really kind of amplify Aminatou's abilities by running a lot of Planeswalkers. We're getting a lot of tokens on the battlefield, so we're going to have a lot of time to block and protect some of our Planeswalkers. Tezzeret and Elspeth are going to be wonderful additions to the deck. We can use that 0 ability to draw some cards, and once we get that kind of Metalcraft online, we'll be able to draw a few extra cards, and also the +1, we're going to get those 1 month after tokens. Same thing with Elspeth. We can use that -3, destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. Unless we have Crusade on the battlefield, most of the time Elspeth is just going to be a one-sided board wipe for us, especially with all those tokens, and then we can really just kind of set the tone, especially if we're working towards that -7. That's going to be some good magic right there. And also, last but not least, Karn. Reveal the top card of your library. For the most part, you can use that -2 ability to really kind of amplify those tokens and then go from there. But that's going to be it for the deck tech. I have some awesome gameplay videos for you to follow, so make sure you stick around and watch. Welcome to Aminatou. As far as opening hand goes, yes, I like it. We'll keep on this one. We've got Ravnica Chupacabra. We have a Thrain Dynamo, which is always nice. And we've got double Scry, double Scurry, and that means double the Fever. So let's go and lead off with Temple of Enlightenment and get the Scry going and treat the Angels. Yeah, let's go and put that on the bottom for right now. That'd be something that we can draw into later. Get some of these tokens going. Anything else? No. We're going to pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing Aminatou, the Fateshifter. +1 draw card. Then, oh, where'd you go? She shifted away. That's a dumb joke, but I like it. Let's get down Temple of Science. Let's get the second Scry going, the second Scurry, and the second Fever. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go and put that on the bottom for right now because we've got Gilded Lotus and Thran Dynamo, so we've got a ton of mana. And we'll pass the turn. So we're playing Aminatou, +1 draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of your library. -1, exile target permanent you control, then return to the battlefield under your control. Then for the -6, choose left or right. And then each player gains control of those permanents except for Aminatou. So at this point right now, we could go for Vindicate on lands, but that's not how I like to play Magic. So we're not going to go for that. If you're worried about that line of play, I am not going to go for that. Yeah, let's get on Aminatou. Almost past the turn. That'd be a good thing to go for. But yeah, if we're playing in a competitive commander setting, Vindicate on a land would be a perfectly fine line of play to go for. But since we're playing just for fun room, we're not going to do that. Let's see. So we've got... Let's grab another black-blue source. That would be good. Let's grab Underground Sea. Let's go for Aminatou. Yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of land destruction in a casual setting. You know, technically, this is not technically casual, but in a roundabout way, it is. What are we going to put on top? I guess we'll put Underground River on top. Yeah, that's fine. At this point right now, we just want to keep plussing up on Aminatou. Play gets Estrid the Mass. +2, untap each enchanted permanent you control. Then for a -1, create a white or enchantment token named Mass attached to another permanent. That token has enchant permanent and totem armor. Then for a -7, put the top 7 cards of your library. Actually, I'll cover that in a sec. Let's get our... Look at this. We've got double Scry lands, double Pain lands. I don't know. I always like it when stuff like that works out. Let's go for Thran Dynamo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's add the triple colorless mana to our mana pool. Let's go for the -1 on Thran Dynamo. Ho, look at that. Get down Gilded Lotus. And that's going to be triple white for a look at that. Beautiful. Oh, I love it. Anything else, we're going to pass the turn. That was just one of those magic plays where you're just like, ooh. -7, put the top 7 cards of your library into your graveyard, then return all non-aura enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, then do the same for aura cards. So, we've got battles of the Commander 18 Planeswalkers, so hopefully this match turns out really well, and we're off to a wonderful start. But, we've got a ton of mana, we just don't have a ton of... Alright, so let's see. So if we go for Academy Rector on Vindicate, then we have Vindicate to destroy the permanent. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think I'm kind of okay with that. Because whatever permanent they get down, I'd rather just go ahead and kind of break the seal on Academy Rector right now. Yeah, let's do that, because then we can still go for Vindicate. Yeah, because I'm trying to think what they could go for, other than just going for Oblivion, but we have the answer for whatever they're going to go for. So we're going to go for Ravnica Chupacabra on Academy Rector, because like I mentioned, we want to stop whatever... The longer the game goes on, the more lines of play that they can potentially go for with Academy Rector. But by us going for this line of play right now, we're going to force them to get down something. And then, there we go. So we can go for Vindicate on that Overgrowth. Perfect. All right, so we're going to destroy that permanent. And that, oh, dang it, we should have left up a white source for Blade Splasher. That would have been a lot better. Sorry about that. We'll go for it next turn. We'll get a few more Anointed Procession tokens going. And so we're going to take care of that. Let's go ahead and plus up on Aminatou. And we'll put Bajuka Bog back on top. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So, there we go. But yeah, that line of play using Aminatou, she makes for a wonder. As far as this deck goes, this is a really heavy token build. We want to get down stuff like Blade Splicer. We kind of want to push this Esper control route. And then at the same time, just really start building up some really nice tokens. And so, she just works out really well as a blink commander. I don't know. I just kept looking at how I wanted to build her, and I was like, yeah, this would be fun to build some blink commanders. So there we go. Now, we do have Bajuka Bog. Well, we can still just bounce it with Aminatou. So let's just go and get it down. We'll take care of that overgrowth. Get out of here, overgrowth. You are not welcome. Let's go and swing in with Ravenous Chupacabra. We're going to see that, more than likely, we'll see that Maze of Ith activation on Estrian. But at least at this point, we're going to force him to go for it. So we're going to swing in with Ravenous Chupacabra. And then next turn, since they only have one Maze of Ith, we get on Blade Splicer and go to town. Have some fun. And that's one of the fun things about playing this deck, and something like Anointed Procession, is that it's just like an instant army in a can. You just get some good stuff going. Let's get down Blade Splicer. It's going to be 2 golems. There we go. Oh. Let's go for the -1. Exile Blade Splicer. Oh, look at that. And then anything else, no, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, with that Academy Rector line of play, one of the things that I was worried about with Academy Rector was our opponent going for Overwhelming Splendor. That's something that would definitely kind of shut us down, get rid of that enter the battlefield effect. So that's why I went ahead and forced the Academy Rector line of play, because, you know, the longer she sticks around, it's just really kind of like a pain in our side, or a splinter, really, if you think about it. It's just you just want to get rid of it, pull it out, and then just kind of go from there. So our opponent gets down Sigarda. And with Sigarda, flying and hexproof, spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to sacrifice permanents. Okay. So they're going to put a mass token on Sigarda. And I just really enjoy thinking about Sigarda wearing that mask. I don't know, this is really cool. Ooh, Spellseeker. Alright, so flying and hexproof. So that basically we can't really grab anything off of Spellseeker. Let's push in with the crew first. Yeah, we're not going to swing in with Blade Splicer. Yeah, because then if we go for Flesh Bag or something, we can't get that done. So let's swing in with all of our golems. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we'll swing in at Estrid. That way it's still taken care of either way. We'll swing in our opponent, So that should be a good little mix of attacks right there. We're going to be attacking their life total. We're also going to be going for Estrid. We just want to try to keep her, make sure they don't go for that -7. Okay, so we got that split up. That's going to put them down to 24. That's going to get rid of, oh yeah, Maze of Ith, duh. Sorry about that. That's going to leave Estrid down to 1, which is not too bad. Get her loyalty down. So let's go for Aminatou, because we just want to basically just swarm the board at this point. Actually, let's go for Spellseeker first. Yeah, I think I like that. Well, let's go for Spellseeker first. That way we can... I've got my deck list out here in front of us, but maybe there's some sort of way we can get some really good... Yes, we definitely want to use that ability. Let's get this popped out. We can go for Vampiric Tutor or grab something. Night's Whisperer. Secure the Waste would be a wonderful way to get a ton of tokens on the battlefield. I think I like that. Yeah, if we're going for tokens, why not? Yeah, let's go for Secure the Waste. Let's go for the +1, exile, a permanent we control is Exile Blade Splicer. End up with a few more golems, and then next turn we're going to tap out for a ton of tokens off Secure the Waste. I love this card. Then anything else, we're going to pass the turn. Now with Secure the Waste, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to be 16 tokens on the battlefield. And the fun thing about Secure the Waste is this is instant speed. So especially with our opponent tapping out right now, I don't know what they're tapping out for. Hopefully it's nothing too bad, fingers crossed. We can end up with a lot of... Cloud of Fairies, okay. We end up with a lot of tokens on the battlefield, and that's what kind of makes this deck a lot of fun. Is that it's kind of like playing like some sort of Esper Lingering Souls in Modern. You know, you just got this token element where you're just kind of like getting your chip shot damage in where you can. You've got these really high impact creatures. Guys, Embrace. Okay. I'm worried that we're just going to lose, but I don't think that's going to be it. But yeah, you know, it's like you're playing Esper tokens in Modern. You know, you have some really good high impact Snapcaster, Spellseeker, different things like that. And then the fact that, yeah, they are swinging an Aminatou, but Aminatou has made her mark on the battlefield, so it's okay if she goes back to the command zone. But it's just fun. Fun little build. You know, look how many golems we've got. And the fact that you can do something like Anointed Procession, it works out well with Aminatou, and it works out with Secure the Waste. That is another good thing. So let's go ahead and go for Secure the Waste. They had no answer for that, so we're going to tap out, end up with an instant army on the battlefield. 1, 2, 3. Oh, look at that. 16 soldiers go. Go, my soldiers, go. They are... And I love how ready to go to battle these warrior tokens are. I love it. All right, so we draw into Karn. Let's just go and push in on this one at this point, because that's going to be 16. That's going to be 18. I think... I mean, I guess we'll technically... Let's still go and get down to Karn. That way we can +1. Maybe we draw into something off of that. But at this point, we're just going to still get down to Karn, go for the +1. And there's a lot of synergy in this deck, too. And you can see the fact that we have Anointed Procession that works out really well with Karn, too. Recruiter of the Guard. What was the other one? That was Radiant Fountain. I don't think we really need any other creatures. We could go for... Yeah, let's go for Snap. Let's go for Recruiter of the Guard, Snapcaster. I know I may be going a little overboard with this, but we go Snapcaster, Vindicate. I just want to make sure we've got more than enough ways to close this out. Maybe they've got a fog effect. I just want to force this. So if our opponent sees this video, I do apologize. I'm not showboating. I'm just, you know, there's open mana over there, so we're going to play around it. I'd hate to just like, all right, swing in. Yes, we're going to use Recruit of the Guard's ability. We want to get out some sort of way to, where are you? Fleshbag's not going to make them sacrifice a creature. I'm going to grab Snapcaster. All right, put in Snapcaster. And then we're going to be able to go for that Vindicate out of the graveyard. There we go. If we wanted to, we could go for Secure the Waste again. But we're going to go for Vindicate on the Cloud of Fairies. That way it's just going to clear the way. End up with another body on the battlefield with Snapcaster too. And actually, if they want to regenerate, they can regenerate. So it's going to have the exact same effect, but it's just going to get rid of a blocker, basically. So, you know, just now. I just now remember that. Sorry. Got a little ahead of myself. But it's still going to make them tap down. That should clear the way for us to swing in. And let's just see. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's going to be 20. It's going to be 26. So they can only block 1 at this point. Yeah, that should be the entire crew. So we're going to swing in with everybody at our opponent. That's going to be at least 16, and then more than enough Golem tokens. And they can untap one of them, but that should be lethal to my knowledge. One of my biggest fears or anxiety sources when I'm recording a video is that somehow I've miscalculated an entire board state of tokens being lethal. That's always, and I don't want to sit here and chew the clock up forever. You can see our opponent, we're at 21, we're at 16, so that's one of my big fears. So if I ever play overly cautious at the end of the game, that's why. Anyway, we close it out, good game to our opponent. Unfortunately, fortunately for us, we were able to keep enough pressure on Estrian and get a really nice board state developed. Look at all these warrior tokens. You can see how much overlapping synergy we have in this deck. We can go for Karn, go for that -2 to get that construct token. That's going to be double construct tokens with Anointed Procession. There's just a really lot of fun stuff in this deck to kind of make a Aminatou blink deck. You know, it's just basically you're going to create this board state that is such a good board state that your opponent's going to be preoccupied dealing with your board state. At the same time, you can get down Aminatou and just kind of keep going for value plays on Spellseeker, or simply just keep going for Blade Splicer. So that's kind of one of the best ways to take advantage of Aminatou, is to basically just kind of make it to where she's not the focus of the deck. She's just really more of a support commander, to where she's on the battlefield and we just get a ton of value. And, you know, either way, you know, even if we never got down Aminatou, the fact that we got down Anointed Procession, you know, it really amplified all the tokens out. So that's definitely a really fun way to take Aminatou, and I've enjoyed the build so far. In fact, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Aminatou. As far as opening hand goes, yes, I love it. We're going to keep on this one. We don't have removal for Krinko, but other than that, I like it a lot. Oh, I just now realized we don't have a white source. I just saw Teferi's protection skill. Yeah, we'll make it work. It's going to lead off with Temple of Deceit. Get the scry going. The scurry, the fever, the insanity, the descent. Okay, Radiant Fountain. Yeah, let's go put that on the bottom for right now. And then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing Aminatou, the Fateshifter. +1, draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of your library. -1, exile a target permanent you control, then return to the battlefield under your control. Then for a -6, choose left or right. Each player gains control of all non-land permanents other than Aminatou controlled by the next player in the chosen direction. And also, if you're keeping score at home, Aminatou can be your commander. So, just wanted to point that out. Draw the Fleshbag Marauder. Let's go for Underground Sea, and let's get the greatness going at any cost. Getting on Dark Confidant. And we'll kick it back over there. We're playing against Krinko, Mob Boss. Tap, create X11 red goblin creature tokens, where X is the number of goblins that you control. And as far as the Goblin Soothsayer, red creatures you control get +1/+1. Okay, so that's not too bad. And I love this art. Looks so good. It's a weird looking goblin though, but I like it. And they get down Bloodmark Minter. So we can survive that. Now, we do have Fleshbag Marauder that we can go for this turn, but I don't think that's exactly what we want to do. Do we hit a white? Oh, there we go. Hit Misty. I like it. Let's get down Misty. And if we go for Aminatou, we're going to have to draw into our library. Yeah, let's crack Misty. We want to get a white source on the battlefield for sure. So let's get that popped out. We're going to grab Tundra. Yeah, there we go. Grab Tundra. And I guess if we want to kind of get some movement on our opponent's side of the battlefield, we could go for Aminatou. Or if we wanted to go for Fleshbag, that's something we could do too. They have First Strike, so it's going to be really hard for us to kind of do anything with First Strike at this point right now. Yeah, let's go for Aminatou. That way we can at least we can kind of sequence our Dark Confidant draws by drawing an additional card. That way we can just kind of smooth it out. Yeah, I like that. That way we're not taking a big hit. I think our biggest, yeah, this deck tops out at 5, so it's not too bad. So we're going to go for Aminatou, Windswept Heath. We'll just go and put Windswept Heath back on top. We'll rip into it, and then that's what we'll reveal for the, at the beginning of our upkeep, reveal that, and then we'll have our draw step. So we can basically just kind of smooth out our Dark Confidant draws. I like it. It's like Aminatou is made just to get down Dark Confidant Commander to make sure you're not going to lose your own spells. Now, as far as the deck goes, I love this deck. I've been playing it. It's a lot of fun. Every single match that I've played so far has just been, I don't know how to describe it. You know, win or lose, you just end up with a really interesting and kind of complicated board state. Not necessarily complicated, but you just end up with, you don't really have the same set way to win. You know, there may be golem tokens that you're going to win one time. There may be just to secure the waste after you and your opponent have traded board wipes the entire game. There's just a ton of different ways to take this deck, and it's to play this particular deck, and it's really fun. I've enjoyed it, so hopefully we get some good stuff going for you today. Temple of Silence. Do we want to scry off of that? Yeah, let's go for that. Let's go for the scry. Maybe we can draw and then put something back. So let's go for the Temple of Silence. Mana Crypt. Yeah, we want that. Let's put that on top. Let's go for the +1. Draw an additional card. Draw the Mana Crypt. And let's put, I guess, Windswept Heath back on top? Yeah. As we get down Mana Crypt, do we want to go for Fleshbag? That'll simply just get rid of a body. And none of them have haste at this point, which is really important. And I don't think we have an Enlightened Tutor. It's basically just kind of like a Skull Clamp style thing, which we might actually end up going for. Because we can go for a nice little Secure the Waste and start clamping through some of those cards to find a board wipe. I think that's what we might end up doing. That would probably be best. We do need to find a white source, though. That's something we need to find. And to make sure that we clicked on Aminatou. I'm pretty sure we did already. But just want to make sure. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I guess actually we can go for Enlightened Tutor on our opponent's turn. So let's just go and pass the turn. But we do have Enlightened Tutor on Skull Clamp. That's going to put us on something like Secure the Waste. Now, we do have a lot of different ways. We have a Snapcaster. So we can get down Snapcaster. Ooh, okay. So let's do this. Let's go for Secure the Waste at this point. Because I feel like getting these tokens on the battlefield at this point with that Mana Crypt, yeah, I feel like this is a good way to use Secure the Waste. So we're going to use that mana, Smash the Smithereens, and props to our opponent for getting the Goblin token on there. The Goblin version of Smash the Smithereens, keeping on theme with that. I like that. It's pretty nice. And then I think they do have they get the Guilds of Ravnica Mountains, so I thought that was the Return to Ravnica, which would have fit in perfectly with. I don't think Krinko's technically from Ravnica, but he's from a big city, so I don't know what plane he's from, but I've always enjoyed Krinko as a mob boss. Okay, so we'll at least be able to go for Enlightened Tutor. Goblin Pile Driver, okay. We'll go for Enlightened Tutor during our upkeep. That way we can grab Skull. Well, either way, it's not really going to matter. Because we know Windswept Heath's on top. Yeah, we know that's on top. Then we go for Enlightened Tutor. And that way we don't have to worry about shuffling away or taking the damage off Dark Confidant. So get this popped up. Let's grab that Skull Clamp. There we go. It's going to draw into that. Let's get down Ancient Tomb. Let's go for Skull Clamp. And at this point, since they have First Strike, we're basically just going to start cashing in some card draw at this point right now. Let's go for that on a Warrior token. It's going to be 1/2. So we're going to cash in 2 card draw. Let's go for one more active. Oh, look at that. That's looking good. Let's go for one more card draw. Or, excuse me, one more activation. Limdil's Vault. I don't know why. Every time I get down Skull Clamp, I still don't understand why somebody thought that was a good idea. And so we've got Vault right now. So at this point right now, let's go ahead and go. Yeah, it's just I'm just blown away at the thought of that. We can go for Aminatou +1, put a card back. Yeah, that's fine. We'll put something back. We'll put Azorius Signet. Actually, put Scalding Tarn back. And we'll go for Vault for next turn, because we kind of want to find a board wipe at this point. I think that would be good. Yeah, and we're not going to swing it with the crew. Now, if they do decide to start swinging in, we will end up blocking this turn. Thankfully, that Skull Clamp got us where we needed to go. We just needed to get some sort of tokens going. And that's exactly what happened. So we got Windswept Teeth. Let's go and chunk Windswept Teeth, because we can get down Signet next turn. And so we're going to go for Vault. So we do have Damnation in here. We do have Toxic Deluge. Do we have Wrath? No, we don't have Wrath of God. Okay, that's it. So we're basically going to be digging for Toxic Deluge or Damnation, because we just need to really clean up a lot of these goblins. If they get haste somehow, get down Krinko, and end up with a bunch of goblin tokens, that's not going to be good for us. In fact, it's going to be the opposite of good. It's going to be bad. It's going to be terrible. Goblins stink, and they just really kind of stink up the board state. So we're going to dig for we'll use Vault to dig for some sort of board wipe for all these gnarly looking goblins. That way allow us to kind of reset a little bit. And we can also even get down Angel too. And that way we can kind of bounce back with some of these Angel tokens. Okay, so they are swinging in, and we're going to declare blockers on these. Shout out to Dark Confidant for giving us some really good card draw. Always hate to see you go, buddy. But we're going to, yeah, we want to try to minimize as much damage as possible, if we can help it. And we definitely want to throw a creature in front of that Goblin Pile Driver, because that is an 8/3. So at this point, that's going to be, yeah, we will leave Aminatou up. So we're going to go Dark Confidant on Goblin Pile Driver, Warrior Token, and then Warrior Token. Click OK. So that's going to be getting in for 2. That's going to put Aminatou down to 4. Once that first strike damage happens, then we're going to go for Vault. That way we can find some sort of answer for Aminatou, or at least some sort of board wipe was what I was trying to say. There we go. Let's go and in fact, while we're digging through here, I might just go and speed it up just a little bit. Okay, so we don't hit a board wipe, we actually hit a pretty interesting pile. So we have Spellseeker into Tutor card, and that's going to put us on Toxic. Yeah, I don't think that gets it done. There we go. So we finally hit. Oh, actually, this is a really good pile. We're not going to pay life. Let's put Damnation on top. Let's go for Swamp. Let's go for Colonnade. Let's go for Panharmonicon. Let's go Blade Splicer. And let's put Damnation on top. There we go. That's going to work out wonderful. That's exactly what we need. So we're going to go for Damnation. We'll be able to get that down. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. And at this point, since we are at 13, I think we might... if we get down Signet, that's going to make us tap down Ancient Tomb. So, let's just straight up just go for Damnation. We've been really aggressive with our life total. And we can get a... Well, do we want to go for Signet just to get a little bit of extra mana going? Yeah, that's fine. Let's go for it. All right, so we're going to get down Signet. We're going to go for the plus off of Aminatou. Now we can draw an additional card. We'll draw into that Blade Splicer. And then we'll go and put Brainstorm back on top. All right, there we go. So I got a really nice reset on the goblins. Thankfully, we were able to stop our opponent digging down Krinko, and we're able to stop the, at least kind of get the commander attacks going up on Krinko, and at the same time, we're going to be able to kind of bounce back once we get down the Angel, and really kind of start amplifying our tokens. We are stuck at 11, though. I don't think we have it too much life gain in this particular deck, so we do need to be a little bit cautious going forward. We do have Swords of Plowshare, so let's say that we do get some sort of big creature on the battlefield on our side, whether it's Cathar's Crusade. We can kind of, in a roundabout way, I use some incremental life gain to get some stuff moving, but, Siege Gang Commander. Okay, now if we get down Blade Splicer, that's going to be a Golem on the battlefield. Yeah, because basically with Siege Gang, that's going to be a lot of goblins, especially if we leave a Siege Gang unchecked. They can start dealing a ton of damage to a lot of our creatures. So we draw into Brainstorm. So we go for Aminatou, draw an additional card. I can't remember what that last card was on top of our library. Yeah, let's go for Brainstorm. I can't remember. because I remember there was some sort of token. I want to say it was Anointed Procession. No, it was Panharmonicon. That's what I was thinking of. Let's put 2 cards back on top. We'll go and put Celestial Colonnade, and let's put Riverwise Augur back on top. Let's get down Swamp, and then we go for Panharmonicon, and that still give us Blade Splicer. Yeah, that'll kind of force them. Yeah, I kind of like that. So we'll get down Panharmonicon. And that way we can get down Blade Splicer, and really, and actually, in fact, we can go for double Blade Splicers. I like that a lot. They don't have the activation to go for that. So we'll get down Blade Splicer. I know we had some sort of token enabler. I just couldn't remember at that particular time. So let's go and always yield to these Blade Splicer triggers. Oh, look at that. All right, let's go for the -1 Exile Blade Splicer again. Instant army, instant battlefield. All right, I love it. Anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn. So we've got Teferi's Protection in our hand. Let's see, our opponent does get down some sort of crazy shenanigans. We still have Teferi's Protection, so we do, since we are at 9 life, we do want to get into a position to where we can use Teferi's Protection as a way to kind of ensure our life total. But at this point right now, we're basically looking at Angel token, and I think that might... If an artifact or creature, excuse me, yeah, that's not going to count for landfall. I was thinking that would count for landfall. Now, we'll see if they end up going for the activation off CGN Commander. More than likely, we'll see that activation because we're looking at 2 more golems for next turn. But if they get down a creature, I can also see that too. So if we're able to survive a turn, I like it. And they're right back in it. This is why it's so crazy to play against goblins, is because as you can tell, they're right back in it. we go for Damnation and we try to rebuild our board state, and next thing you know, there's an entire board of goblins. So we at least still have the Blade Splicer line of play, which I'm very thankful for. And we draw to Riverwise Augur. Yeah, I like going for Blade Splicer on this one. Let's go for the -1. Get a few more tokens going. Let's get down Angel. And then that way we can still leave up Ancient Tomb. Not Ancient Tomb, we can still leave up Teferi's Protection. Do we want to get Skull Clamp on a creature? We could put it on Blade Splicer, but I still like, even if they end up going for CGN Commander, we can still end up going for Teferi's Protection. So, yeah, I like that. We'll simply just pass the turn at this point right now. And then once we start hitting, I think our next couple of draws will end up being lands. And we did activate Aminatou. All right, so we're going to go and pass the turn. Thankfully, they don't have an haste option. If they get down Krinko and went for that haste activation, that would not be good. And they get down a Goblin Burrow, so it's get +2/+0 until the end of turn. So at this point right now, they have to deal with First Strike with CGN Commander on Blade Splicer, because it's basically going to be really hard for them to get anything done at this point right now until they deal with Blade Splicer. And what we can do also, if we wanted to, is we can go for Teferi's Protection in response to some sort of activation to kind of fog it out. So we'll see if that's something that we want to do. But at this point right now, we just want to kind of build up our token army. That way we can get in a position to where we can close the game out. If we do run into Toxic Deluge, that's going to be perfect for a deck like this. Okay, so we go for Teferi's Protection. I think that's because, yeah, I think I like that. Because that's going to get rid of a goblin. It's going to get our life total down to 7, but yeah, I like going for this. We're going to go for Teferi's Protection. Blade Splash is going to be really good with Aminatou. That's going to be, if we're trying to outrace the goblins, that's going to be our only way to go for that. All right, so we're going to fog out our board. They're going to go away. CGN Commander is going to have this very, very confused look on his face, wondering where Pete the Goblin went as he catapulted him. And we'll get our creatures back on the back end. There we go. All right, and then we draw the Colonnade. And I think there was a fetch land on top, maybe? Let's go ahead. Yeah, well, either way, if we're making tokens, we need to make some tokens. So let's go for the -1 on Blade Splicer. Let's go and always yield to these Blade Splicer activations. Get down Celestial Colonnade, because that'll give us a few more tokens off the Angel. And actually, we can start swinging in with these flying creatures and really just kind of protect our board state. And if we want to, we can actually go for some Skull Clamp on those birds. I think I might like that. Let's go for a Skull Clamp really quick. Poor bird token. Just got out here and we're going to clamp it onto something to draw some cards. But at this point right now, that's going to be our only way to outrace our opponent, is either through the, Geisonder Monk. Oh, yeah, I like that. Let's go for Geisonder Monk. At this point, we just want to swarm the board. All right, so we're going to get down Geisonder Monk. We're going to end up with a few more Spirit tokens. Actually end up with 4 Spirit tokens. Always yield to that. And that's going to be the difference in this particular matchup, is us being able to get some flying creatures going. So we're going to go swing in 2 with our Angel. And maybe I could have swung in earlier with the Angel token, but I might have just simply just missed swinging in with her. Or maybe I didn't want to because our opponent had a lot of goblins. But at this point right now, we can kind of breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief because we've got the spirits, we've got Aminatou exiling Geist-Honored Monk. That's going to really start to amplify our threat in the air. They're going to have to go for the Siege Gang Commander activation on Blade Splaster to get rid of these golems, to get rid of that first strike. If they want to get rid of the Angel, that's going to be 2 activations off Siege Gang. And oh yeah, they went for 2 damage off Aminatou, but we can still recast her. And then they get Krinko going. So we're off to the races at this point. Hopefully we can find that Toxic Deluge pretty quick. Because we need to get a count on Gerblins. It's going to be 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, so we're looking at a pretty good chunk of goblins on the battlefield. And they do take care of Blade Splaster. Okay. So I think our best bet is to go for Geist-Honored Monk. Or we can just start ripping through our library to find a Toxic. We go for Toxic for 3. That kills our board, but it's still, well, yeah, and that'll still get rid of Geist-Honored Monk too. So we'll see. War's Toil, whenever opponent taps a land for mana, tap all lands that player controls. If a creature an opponent controls attacks, all creatures that opponent controls attack if able. All right, so we've got some... we've got ourselves some fun shenanigans going on. Okay, so we've got War's Toil. We have to tap all of our lands at this point. We can get down Caves. It's going to be another flying creature. Because let's see, we swing in with our golems. They're going to 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Geist does not have trample. I mean, we can make some trades, but I just think we're dead on the back end. I think so. So it's almost, I kind of want to start skull clamping. I think I like that. All right, so we're going to go for Caves. We're going to start clamping. That's going to be another bird token. And what we'll do on this one is, yes, we definitely want to use that ability. We're going to add Swamp. And at this point right now, we're just going to add the rest of our mana to our mana pool. That way we can just kind of get that going. So we just need to... We don't want to do it too quick. There we go. White. Go for black. And we'll go for one more blue. And do we want to tap down Ancient Tomb? Yeah, because, well... Because I'm trying to think, because if we swing in with the entire crew, that's going to force some blocks. That'll whittle away at their goblin tokens. Maybe we don't want to just start clamping a bunch of creatures. Because we can go for Fleshbag Marauder, we can go for Riverwise Augur. Either way, we're going to have to tap down our mana. Yeah, that's okay. I think we can make this work. Okay, so we at least need, we have 3 blue swords. Yeah, let's click OK. All right, so we're going to get that War's Toil going. But we're going to swing in on this one. We're not going to just start clamping and give up. We might be able to trade some damage. So it's going to always yield to this War's Toil. So we added our mana to our mana pool. I don't really feel comfortable tapping down Ancient Tomb. I mean, we could have that to put us down to 5, but that might make a difference in this one. So at least we're going to be able to go for Riverwise Augur. Ooh. I'm going to go for 1 black and then 1 white mana. So we're going to be able to at least still draw 3 cards. Oh, look at that. The double Panharmonicon, I love it. All right, so we've got, Visionary Augmenter, which is going to be 4 mana. Oh, but it's double white, bummer. Okay, so let's put Flooded Strand and Temple of Enlightenment back on top. We're going to draw 3 more cards. And I'm pretty sure we did make the land drop for the turn. Oh, just now saw this. Sorry, partner. We'll look here in a second. And then, Merciless Eviction, which is something that is a board wipe. Let's go and put Temple of Enlightenment back. And I guess at this point, we'll put back Murmuring Mystic. Yes, we did make the lane drop already. We'll go for Fleshbag Marauder. That'll be double sacrifice triggers. Because we just really want to attack these goblins, especially if we're going to swing in with the entire crew. And I guess we'll sacrifice Riverwise Augur, and we'll sacrifice this bird token. Yeah, I think that, well, we could use it to because we need to get in as much damage as possible. So let's go ahead and sacrifice. Actually, we'll sacrifice Fleshbag himself, and then that way we can still Skull Clamp on that bird token, because we're just trying to cash in as much card draw as possible. Sacrifice Fleshbag. And actually, it might be, we don't need the card draw that bad. We have Merciless Eviction. We're not digging towards anything, so we can get a little bit of additional bonus on one of our creatures, though. Let's go and put it on one of the golems. That'll make it a 4/3. Yeah, there we go. I like that a little bit better. We still end up leaving a creature. We have one creature to bounce back. Let's go and swing it with the entire crew. That'd have been so nice with that Visionary Augmenter to get that going. So we're going to attack with all of our creatures. I guess we have to with War's Toil. We're going to see how our opponent's going to block. I think they're definitely going to have to block. We're at least going to get in for 4 in the air. That's going to be 7. That's going to put them down to 20. And so we've got lethal, so they're going to have to get some blocks going. Hopefully that'll kind of whittle away at whatever sort of goblin board state they were trying to develop. Okay, that's going to put them down to 2. And we're still at 7. And, well, actually, yeah, they go for the active... Oh, no, I think they've got enough mana. They go for Goblin Burrows. Oh, that was close. Yeah, this is one of those, just to be completely transparent, the hardest thing to do while recording Magic and playing Magic is to kind of anticipate huge board states like this, because I can sit here and go into the think tank for 5 minutes, but I don't want to do that because, sometimes people quit when you go into the think tank for way too long. And so I try to make the best informed decision as possible while delivering commentary and while thinking. And to be perfectly honest, when you have an entire board state like this and you have War's Toll, it's a little hard to make sure you're making the best informed decision sometimes. So maybe we could have dug a little bit deeper or skull clamped our way out of this one, but at least we got our opponent down to 2. So if I did miss something, it's always nice to let me know. I always like to kind of go back and look at it, but it's always a bummer if that does happen. I don't enjoy that. All right, so opponent's going to go for Siege Gang Commander. Yeah, and then there's other stuff where I just kind of forget about Siege Gang Commander going for a ton of activations, and that's going to allow them to close the game out. So we did get in for a pretty good chunk of damage with Geisander Monk that put them all the way down, but they're going to be able to close it out. That's going to put us down to 3. Yeah, they've got enough to wipe us out. So maybe we shouldn't have used the Teferi's Protection earlier in the game so quick on Blade Splicer, but I like the thought of rebuilding our board state really quick. And so I still think I'd go for that line of play if I had to do it again. I'm pretty sure that I would do that again because, that's kind of our only way to build up a board state token right now. So anyway, opponent's going to get it on this one. They go for one more Gerblin activation, and let's see. There we go. Puts us down to -1. Good game to our opponent. Highly enjoyed it. You can definitely see what this deck is capable of. Maybe this deck game was a little bit different with Visionary Augmenter down, but either way, they still had it with Siege Gang Commander. But yeah, get a whole mess of tokens. Get some golems, some birds, some spirit tokens, some servo tokens that just go to town. Start skull clamping. Get some really nice into the battlefield triggers. Ton of fun. So, anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome MTG content just like this. And make sure to tap the bell icon to be notified whenever a video is made live. If you want to keep watching content, here are 2 more videos for you. This video and many others are sponsored by MTGO Traders and Cape Fear Games. Buy and sell digital singles to build your online collection today with MTGO Traders, and get your paper singles, accessories, and much more from Cape Fear Games. Whatever your Magic needs, both places have you covered.